Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome back to Voices of the Internet. Today's topic of discussion is going to be the Noem family. If you have heard anything in the news the past few days, if it has not been about Artemis 2 launching, which I got to see launch off today from my doorstep outside, it was actually super cool. I went outside, and of course, it was kind of cloudy out. It's been like the sun's been out and for the past few days, but of course, right when they're having the launch, at least from my side of the city, here in Central Florida, there was some clouds, but it was still very visible. I got a good view and a video of it, which I'll be playing right here, just a little clip. But that was badass. But besides that, the other major story that's been taking over headlines is not Kristi Noem for once, in part, but her husband, Brian Noem, who has come out and has been exposed for his kinks, let's just say. So, this man, as discovered by the Daily Mail, there are photos that have been uncovered of him wearing these large women parts that he has either purchased or constructed himself. And it turns out that he's part of this community of people, of men, who are very into women with very, very large, extremely large chest. And not only is he into that as far as seeing it on another female or another person, but he has also, as I mentioned, created his own pair, his own little or big, I should say, attachment that he has been photographed wearing. The photos, which I will also show a few here, are, it's what they are. There's no getting around it. They show what they show, and the funny part about it is it's not necessarily that her husband, Brian, is into that sort of a thing. It's not really that, because everyone has their own little fetishes and things that they are into. And apparently that's his, as well as I'm sure millions other guys out there are probably into the same sort of a thing. And I know there's probably like a whole community behind that. That it's not my community really, but it's, there's a community of people who are really into that. So this man who has been married to Kristi Noem for 30 something years, I think 33 years, something like that. He knows that he has a very high profile wife because his wife, Kristi, has spent a large period of time terrorizing Americans and making life extremely difficult for questionable Americans and for the gays and for trans people also. She's been the face of a part of the downfall of the country and its current climate. Most people do not like this woman, and most people have many bad things to say about her. She has lied in our faces on numerous occasions. She has tried to gaslight the entire country into believing that regular, normal concerned Americans that are concerned for their communities, has tried to gaslight us into thinking that somehow that they are domestic terrorists, those Americans who obviously some of them had either lost their life or been harmed due to the organization put together by Kristi Noem and led by Kristi Noem. Well, you know what? She apparently did a horrible job, because even the president himself realized that he had to let her go. And what do you know? The last day, now the news came out about this a while ago, so we knew she was leaving her post. But ironically enough, her actual final day of being head of the Department of Homeland Security is March 31st. That's the day that was her last day. But that also happens to be the day of Trans Visibility Day. So the ironic thing about this is that karma is coming back to bite this woman in the behind, like times 3. You know, the whole saying goes, don't put something out or bad or it might come back at you times 3. She's getting it back times 3, maybe even times 4, because who knows what has yet to come. But so far, it seems like there's been a little bit of a karmatic effect that is working out in our favor, because we get to see somewhat of the downfall of someone who has put out such a negative image for herself in regards to the American people. So not only is her final day working the job, Trans Visibility Day, it actually happens to coincide with the release of all of this information pertaining to her husband and his hidden kinks. Did she know about these things? I have no idea. Every couple is entitled to have their own intercouple like secrets, and that certain things just don't need to leave the bedroom or don't have to leave the bedroom. So whether she knew about what was going on or not stands to be questioned. But another thing to note is that she's also is known for having an affair with another government official, something that she was asked about in court. And it's something that apparently, from what I've read, is known amongst certain groups of people, but from the general public, it was something that was being kept under wraps until it wasn't. So now everyone knows about that. That kind of falls into this whole little shebang that we got going on here. So not only is she being exposed for having an affair, she's having this affair while her husband is out putting on large, enormous sized fake breasts and interacting with other women and people working in that community. And apparently this guy was offering to pay for, I don't know, photos or maybe services or who knows what, paying large amounts of money for these services, but it led to some of the women who are in this field becoming disgruntled because a lot of that information, text messages, photos, and whatnot were leaked. And so it just makes me think, like, what is going on going through these people's heads? You know, you are the husband of one of the most high-profile government officials in the United States, and you have this whole little kind of thing going on. And it's like, is there any thought between him and Kristi as far as like, hey, I know you're doing this and you're into this sort of a thing, but can you at least hide your face, if you're going to take these photos? Or did she really maybe she just doesn't know, and this is all just kind of backhanding her. Who knows? All I know is she was questioned for taking very expensive flights around the country, maybe around the world, who knows. And if you look up the plane, which I think I have a photo of it that I'll pull up right here, you can see that this thing has like a nice luxury bed in the back. It looks all cozy. I'm sure there was like wine, being stored, and probably a bar, and who knows what was going on. But if she was flying around in these flights with her lover boy, other government official, Corey, whatever, I wonder, it's just, the whole thing is just really so silly. If you think about these people who have taken so much time and energy to go after queer rights and trans rights. And the whole time, which it doesn't surprise me, but the whole time, the very people who are going after these various communities are the same ones, it's proven time and time again by not just this situation, but many other situations, usually stemming from the red party. Both sides have their issues, so don't pin me that. But it's just funny how it's very known like that the Republican Party has had such an issue with the gay community and the trans community. And it's such a big thing, but these people keep coming out as being the main ones who fall into that community. But the self-hate is real. There is, I'm sure, plenty of psychological studies being done as we speak on these people who hate themselves or hate where their mind is so much that they want to lash out and be angry at other people for being that way, yet they are that way, and it always comes to light. No matter what, it always comes to light. I remember some months ago, actually not even some months ago, I feel like every time there's a big gathering of like Republican Party members and just Republicans in general, whether it's for like Charlie Kirk's his memorial thing or whatever you call it, or whatever you want to call it, or just the different conventions that have brought these people together in this Republican Party. It's just so funny how Grindr never fails to break. Let me tell you that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. There's plenty of information out there. It's been notated that every time there's a big gathering of Republican officials and Republican Party members and fans and everything alike, Grindr always crashes because these gays that don't want to claim their gayness, they're the ones crashing Grindr. Like, it's a whole thing. Like, I could really just keep on going and digging into this, but man, how embarrassing is that? Like, you're already going through the crapper, and then your very own husband that you've been married for 30 plus years and that you've known for so long and know so dearly ends up rubbing salt in your wound. Is it deserved? Probably. I think it is actually well deserved. I'm not going to even say probably. I think it's well deserved because you always get what is coming for you based on what you put out. So you put out a bunch of negativity and darkness, well, I guess that's what's going to be coming back to bite you in your ass. So that's all I'm going to say on that. Let me actually check my notes here. See, I actually take notes so that I can like make sure that I go over everything. Let's see, trans gay rights. Oh, I think I've gone over everything. So yeah, who knows? Thank you to the Daily Mail for bringing this information to light. And there's just so much crap going on. But I think that the culprits of these things that we're being forced to deal with, I think that in some way or another, karma is going to continue to do its thing. So watch what you put out there. And the news is wild. Every day there is something. I am going to post, I'm posting, as you see, some of the clips that I've taken, some of the pics that I've taken, and letting you see some of just what I've come across that is in alignment with this conversational piece. And the other thing too that I want to quickly mention is like the whole conversion therapy situation that's come about. This whole week has been like a very, you know what it is? I know what it is. It's because it's almost it's almost pride season, like pretty much. Like it's starting to become spring and summer. They know the pride parades and the pride events are gonna start. So now there's this big, I think this it's developing now, but it's this push, this focus, I should say, on pride related things. I don't know how Kristi's husband kind of got brought out. I think they're waiting specifically. This information has been out there like for a while, but they wait for specific times to release this information, which is why I stated in the beginning, Kristi Noem's first day, her last day, as in the Department of Homeland Security was March 31st. Trans Visibility Day, March 31st. Her husband's photos and messages being exposed right around, I think maybe it was either March 30th or March 31st, right around then. I think it was the 30th. So it's like all of this stuff happens as like a big, it's like so coordinated, and you never really know, none of us know how, why or how these things are coordinated in such a way, but that's just what it appears to be. Um, so, another big thing that is being talked about right now is the conversion therapy aspect, in which has been brought up due to a case in Colorado. But I read something interesting about that, in which this user here, he said that the conversion therapy, that basically it's like conversion therapy in the sense of someone coming to speak with a doctor, and they are talking about their thoughts or feelings of being gay or being trans. I guess the purpose is for that conversation to not be classified in the way of being something along the lines of an actual conversion therapy. Because if you look at the history of conversion therapy and the deep, dark, evil ways that conversion therapy was used and has been used in the past, and not the not too distant past, and I'm sure in some places now, but the way that conversion therapy was being used to treat young children and minors, that was where the problem was. Because not only was this treatment brought on through the use of graphic footage and harsh situations that are being taken on by the minor in the presence of adults that they may or may not know or be comfortable with. But there was also use of chemicals that were put in the faces and given to young people so that they would have this connection between the smell of the chemical or some other torturous way. They would connect that thing with their sexual identity, which is just so horrible and evil in so many ways. If you really think about it, it's just as crazy as when people were being locked up in mental institutions years back in this country for being gay. Like, that could put you into a mental institution. It's the same sort of a concept of that. So I think that the real backdrop of the conversion therapy is really insane. But I guess what this case is about not categorizing a conversation that a young child or a minor might have with their doctor, not categorizing it in the same way as what would be as known as like the general conversion therapy that we've come to know through history. So I'm looking into that a little bit more, but it's like that's such a big topic right now as well, because the Supreme Court is not wanting to ban conversion therapy, and so that's another big article, big situation that just kind of falls within the space of LGBTQ rights, and all of this on top of each other, just thing after thing after thing. It is what it is. This country's crazy. But what's gonna become of all this? I don't know. I know we're gonna get some damn good memes out of the whole situation with Kristi and her husband, Brian. I keep wanting to say Byron. But Brian, Bryon, Brian. Yeah, we're getting a lot of memes. I'm starting to see a lot of advertisements and it is April 1st. Like, it's April Fool's Day. I don't know if you can, like, how to put it together, how much just maybe this is what we need, a little bit of feeling that karmatic reciprocation. Maybe we need a little humor and to see a little justice being served in a very unexpected way. I'm not going to keep rambling on about that, but it is something that is worth notating. I'm sure many of you have already read about this, seen it, and talked about it, whatnot, but I'm just throwing in my little piece. So, Kristi, you get what you deserve. And maybe your puppy that you killed can also have a little bit of retribution and comfort in knowing that you're not going to get off completely scot-free for what you did. People don't forget. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. This is Voices of the Internet, and I will be back with you very soon with more. Good night.